Hello everyone. For this time I did a bit of a market update on the prices in France. I did one last summer, halfway through 2023. So this is a market update for the beginning of 2024. As you can see, I'm still using the Meilleur Agent website. Like I said, not to say every agent's friend, but good data on there. I'm actually looking at new data from the DVF website, which is the government-run website, which has a bit of a revamp, but I'll tell you about that another time. And but you see here, this is France, breaking down the prices, obviously the green areas being the cheapest and the red areas being the most expensive. Obviously these are prices in the last, let's say, last 3 to 6 months, and so let's compare them to my last video in mid-August. These are the areas covered by Agence Newton in this video. If you don't know it, I'll put a link at the top there so you can actually check out our website. So on the map here, as you can see, here's Paris in the middle. Obviously Paris is always red, it's going to be red for all the time. Down here's red, down there's red. The closer you get into the centre, the greener it gets. I'm not talking trees. But we're looking into each region like I said, each region we cover. We don't do the whole of France. We're basically down the western side. So let's have a look, a closer look as such at those prices. So we start with the Normandy region, which is up here. As you can see, all the actual white lines is actually, that's all what we call the communes, which is like the parishes as such. And down here we have Granville going up to Coutances. That area is popular for the actual coastal side. And then we go Richelieu, Caen, that's all very popular once again for the coastal side here. There's a little bit of a orangey area here compared to others, and that's due to the proximity of Paris, which is there. I don't know if you can actually see this on the screen, but at the top here we actually have the average price for the area per metre square. It's 1,205, going up to 3,993 at the top end. These numbers is the price per metre square of livable space. To keep it simple, we often say an average 3-bedroom house is about 100 metres square. So if you take that actual figure, multiply by 100, and you actually have the price of the average house in that area. So in this case, it can go from anywhere from 120,500 up to 399,300. This is in fact the whole of Normandy here. So at the top we actually have the Loire Maritime, then you actually have the Eure. Down here is Orne, this is Calvados around here, and this is the Manche down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counties. Then moving on to, coming to prices, basically since this time last year, the bottom end of the market hasn't changed on our way to €1,205 a metre square. But on the higher end of the market, we've actually got about a €200 per metre square rise, up from 3,797 to the 3,993. So top properties up there are increasing in value. The cheaper ones are holding their price. Then we're going to go from Normandy here down to Brittany. So we'll go on to my Brittany page. Here you go. This map doesn't change much. Once again, coastal areas are more expensive, especially the southern coast because it's more protected. Rennes there, that's because Rennes is the capital of Brittany, so always expensive. The other big towns as well actually figures around the coast. I did a deeper dive into Brittany, which I'll link at the top of the screen there for you. But basically here we have the cheaper properties, obviously in the centre in the green areas, which start at €1,352, going up to 5,176. So quite a bit more expensive than normally. Don't forget it's per metre square, so it quickly adds up. Evolution wise, there's been on the lower end of the market, there's a price increase of not much, about €30 a metre square. But on the higher end of the market, it can be as much as €250 per metre square since last summer. So Brittany is increasing in price. It's popular with the Belgians, it's popular with the Germans, it's popular with the British, and it's also very popular with the French. Brittany is actually the second most popular place for the French to go when they go on holiday after the Mediterranean coast. So up and coming, prices are rising, so keep an eye on that. That was Normandy, down to Brittany, now on to the Pays de Loire. Pays de Loire is an unusual one. Well, it's not unusual, it's quite understandable. Once again, we have the coast, and that's all in red. Then we have, because it actually goes quite inland, it's quite funny, it actually goes from basically from very much red and yellow through to dark green the further away you go from the coast, which is quite a standard thing you find in lots of markets anywhere. Angers stands out a bit because basically Angers is a big town, so there's a lot of employment there, so boosts it up a bit. If Angers wasn't there, that would probably be green all the way across there and even more here. Le Mans once again stands out a bit, another big town, on the 24-hour racing centre there. Nantes is red. Nantes is actually one of the most expensive towns in France. It's in the top 5. I'm not sure what position at this particular moment, but it's one of the most expensive towns in France. And obviously the coastal there being expensive, as all coasts are. Price-wise, like I said, quite a variation here. On the average prices, you go from €1,089 on the bottom end up to 4,326 at the top end. For information, prices have dropped in the Pays de Loire since last summer. On the cheaper end, it's down by about €40 per metre square, and the top end has dropped down by about €135 a metre square. So nothing major. Most of these actual drops is between 1 to 3%, so it's not the end of the world, but they are there. Then that's Pays de Loire there. Let's move on to Aquitaine. Going on to Aquitaine here, just about get it all onto my screen because it is very long and thin, a bit like the Pays de Loire, but in the other direction. As you can see, as always, along the actual coastline here, all very red, and obviously red expensive. And the further you go inland, all very green, green being cheapest. Obviously coastal here, but you also got Bordeaux, which is like the actual capital of that region. But if one thing I find interesting, if you actually look here, Ruffec, Limoges, Périgueux, Brive-la-Gaillarde, this is Dordogne. So it's not that expensive compared to what everyone seems to think. Obviously, we're getting over towards the Creuse here, which is one of the cheapest areas in France, but also an up-and-coming area because everyone wants to buy there at the moment. Average prices beginning of the year here, starting at €924 a metre square, going up to 4,534, so quite a choice there. As of last year, there has been a drop in prices, nothing major. It's about €50 a metre square on both ends of the market, so it's not the end of the world, but there has been a slight drop. But basically, depending on where you want to go, once again, if you go into the Creuse, if we actually try and find one of the most expensive areas in this area, for example here, let's have a look here. Right, for €1,094, the high end of the market. So certainly worth looking into that area. And you actually see the departments here. Class, obviously Bordeaux being the most expensive, or in fact, no, it's probably not most expensive. It's probably the Pyrenees down here, Biarritz, the most expensive one, followed by Bordeaux, followed by these two either side, and the further you go inland, that being the Creuse there, and that being Corrèze. Bordeaux there, Dordogne there. So, general idea of a breakdown of the prices there. Then, if I go back to my France map, so we've done Normandy, we've done Brittany, we've done Pays de Loire, we've done Aquitaine, the big one, and down to Occitanie. So here you can see Occitanie. You've got along the side, bottom here, you've got the Spanish border with the Pyrenees, and then you've got all this is Aquitaine up here, Mediterranean Sea around here. So, once again, we'll start on the coast because it's the easy bit. Along the coastal prices here, a lot of red area, it's the Mediterranean coast, don't really need to explain that. Toulouse, very big popular town in the south of France, so lots of red around there. Ooh. And then down here, this is actually getting onto the actual Pyrenees ski slopes, so that's why that's red. Same down here. And then up here we actually have Nîmes, which is a popular area. But the further you go inland, once again, the greener it gets, although compared to other areas, not that green. Average prices this year on the low end are €1,231 a metre square, going up to 3,946. So compared to this time, compared to last summer, we are actually on a price rise on the lower end of the market, nothing major, 10 euros a metre square, and a price drop on the higher end of the market of nothing major, 14 euros square. But the fact is, the market is moving. So there you have it, roundup of the prices in France in the areas we as an agency cover. Like I said, we cover mainly the western side, you've seen in the video. For other areas, unfortunately, well, I might get around to doing a video, but I don't know when. But you never know. Click and subscribe, you might be surprised. Bye.